And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Open Fort podcast. I'm Naturesbf. Joining me is Rens and Pheylop. Rens, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. We just played some TFT after Pheylop decided to close the client and
Mhm.
sat in queue for 2 hours.
I played 2 hours less than you, but I
Yeah,
still have more wins under my belt than you do.
that is true. He got a win, I only got a second, so feels bad, man. Pheylop was just out of town for a week. How was that? How was your art
Uh,
trip?
it was good. I bumped into some unexpected folks, and even got to talk to one of the minds behind Dota Underlords, and who did a lot of the visual designs for them, and told me a little bit about what's coming from Valve. So it was like pretty exciting,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
overall, it's a super good time. And I it was sad to miss the dropping of all this news and all these games coming out. All
It's a
these
bad week to
announcements.
miss. Yeah.
Yeah, but I missed the tournament too. That kind of sucked. But I'm glad I got back for Team Fight Tactics, and now I'm around for a while. So happy
Don't
to be back.
don't worry. I don't think like everyone that said they were in the tournament didn't like it because they all played hunters over and
Uh,
over and over. Unless you were
yeah, it
Rens and you
didn't
never
look
played it
very
over.
balanced at
No,
all.
no, not so much. So just tell you guys, what this is about. Pretty much, Rens, Pheylop, and I are all long-time Auto Chess players. Been playing since January or February, pretty much when the game came out. We all have been top queens at some point, and we've all just been top-rated players and been streaming the game since then. And so we've all decided to partner up and do this podcast every week at this time, as well as we'll be posting on our YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel comes soon. You'll probably be able to see it on Reddit when we post this podcast on there, on r/Auto Chess. But yeah, pretty much it's good. We're gonna be posting educational videos on there, maybe some entertainment stuff as well. But pretty much it's gonna be us three teaching you about the game to the best of our ability, whether that's Auto Chess, Underlords, or Teamfight Tactics, because the skills should translate between those. Although today was a bit of us dying a lot.
It was a lot of fun though. I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
I
yeah.
don't know about you
I
guys,
had
but
a
I
lot of
actually
fun.
really enjoyed Riot's take so far. I actually can't wait to play more.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. I've had a good time.
For sure. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing. I never played League, so for me it was super new. I felt
Yeah,
like an omega noob.
yeah. Rens is
So
like,
you,
has
you
no
and
idea what any
you
unit
and
is.
Gunnar.
dude, I have no idea, dude, how these champs
Gunnar
are
and
called.
Kayla, right? Gunnar and
I have
Kayla.
to read everything, man. I feel like I'm 80 years old. Like I have to read everything. Like, it's so annoying, man. But I had a lot of fun though. So that's well.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it then.
Gnar.
Pretty much, we're gonna go right into some stuff that happened last week in Auto Chess. The servers went down from like Friday until Monday. The Valve something going on with Valve where all the custom games is kind of shut down, and so anytime like you're around between like round like 15 and 25, the game would just end, and so they took down ranked for all that time. And then to make up for it, they decided to increase all MMR and candy gains by 50%. I want to be clear, only the gains, not your losses, only your gains.
Yep.
So,
Everyone's a queen. Woo.
Fire everyone.
yeah. Rens, you played the most auto chess since that happened because that's what you were playing on stream mostly. So how has it been since the construction boom? How is that?
Yeah, I mean, there are like how many 6.5K queens now? I think before the boom we had like close to 2K.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it got increased by at least 300%. So you got very fast queen games, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean it's very unfortunate for people who got queen before, right? It feels less of an achievement if you
Right.
got it before. But I mean, I wanted queen games anyway, and now I got them, so I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm really happy for that. We got
Yeah,
but,
a lot of new people, so it's cool.
At the same time, like you want a queen games that are higher caliber play and like with better
Yeah.
players. Is it really queen games if a lot of those players hadn't earned queen before and they were just probably high rook mid rook players who just happen to be queen now? Like it's not really like you got high queen games. It's just like you got the same games as before, but more people could join them and some of them
Yeah.
weren't.
I mean, you can at least grind queen ranks now a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I hope they make on QHL. They make like a queen rank limit. You know,
See,
right?
what we've
They
been
can
having
make,
to
like, top
do,
500.
what we've been having to
Top
do in
500.
Queen is pretty much play on Chinese lobbies, which is like 200, 300 ping for all of us. Like, it's been real bad in that regard, like just having to play in Chinese lobbies, and now we don't have to. But I know for me personally, like the motivation to try to climb and get a higher Queen rank isn't really there, because I know like as I'm climbing, like the amount of MMR that's up there for people that played like nonstop during the construction boom, during the 50% increased MMR, it's so high. Like, people got so much MR for it, because all you had to do is play games. As long as you maintained like a bottom 5 or higher, like you just gained ranks. So my motivation personally is kind of low to that, but it's not also. But you know, I'm already motivated to play these other new games anyway, just to try them out. So it's not that big of a deal, and the season's coming to an end pretty soon here.
Yeah, I mean, Underlords came out as well, right? During those days, you got the extra rank. So I didn't even play that much of Autochess because I was playing Underlords
Right.
anyway. So I didn't even gain that much of a boost. Like the people who just played a lot of games during those days got so much MMR. It's so hard to catch up to them. Like you can average 5th, right, and you gain MMR. That's just really stupid.
Yeah.
So it like exactly what you said as well, right? My motivation to climb this season is basically over. Like I'm not gonna climb to get like top EU rank or whatever.
Right.
Like it's not doable anymore. And with all these new games, I want to try them all out anyways.
I mean,
This
it feels
season, at least
kind
for
of
me, is
like,
over.
it feels kind of like Auto Chess is, you know, somewhat in its death throes at this point, right? Like,
Don't say
Well, the mod,
Don't
right?
I mean, it's the elephant in the room, right? Like, you're gonna have to.
To be
address it
clear, the
eventually.
mod though, right?
Yeah,
like Auto
absolutely.
Chess will live on, like as in the game Auto Chess will live on probably through the Epic
Sir,
Drodo
auto
thing.
battlers, sir, auto.
No. I'm
Auto
talking about the game Auto Chess, right? With Epic and Drodo, right? Up on Epic's game store. That'll probably still live on, right?
Sure. Yeah,
But yeah, the mod, the
custom
Dota Auto
game,
Chess,
the
yeah,
custom game.
yeah, that's like, it's gonna die, right? Like they're
Like, as soon
supporting
as
different
the
game.
Epic version comes out,
Right.
like Drodo's not gonna continue to maintain the Dota version.
Yeah.
But you know, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know what. For example, I don't know what Invoker Airwest is gonna do when well, like he refuses to play the other versions now, but at some point, like you're kind of forced to make the switch. I think.
I hope they just release the Epic Drodo thing at the start of the new season, right? Like at the end of this month. That'd be awesome. Like,
Nah, but you still have the battle pass. Like, they're gonna change some units. Like you can vote for.
oh yeah.
What you want to be
Well, they
changed.
could transfer that to Epic. I
Dude,
don't
there's
know.
there's no way they're gonna give up on the mod like already. I don't
think so?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
No,
Well,
they're gonna
why?
change like small things. I mean,
What's your
I would give
reasoning
up if I were
behind
them.
it,
I mean, isn't it just unfair where you buy a battle pass to support them and they're just not gonna do anything anymore? I don't know.
though? I mean, you pay 75 cents for that battle pass, and you know what? You got your 75 cents out of it, probably.
Yeah, I
you got
mean,
the courier at least.
they could. Actually, I don't know if they could. I assume they could somehow transfer that to the Epic
think so?
version, because didn't they have it so when you signed up on their mobile you got something on the PC? Wasn't that already a thing in the mod? Like you got candy or something?
Yeah. You got
you did?
stuff for linking accounts, basically.
Right. So as long as they can just continue that and make it so you can link your accounts in some way still, then they probably can manage to switch it over. But I have to imagine on Epic Store, like a $1 battle pass for a PC standalone game seems very low. So I have to imagine gonna have to change that, right? Like that is a very low amount of money. It was awesome, like that they did that, but that seems very low to me.
But I don't think we have any news of when the Epic when it goes
No,
on
we have
Epic,
no
right?
idea. We just know it's this year. That's all we know.
It could be like in 3-4 months, and
Yeah.
they probably still update the PC version like a little bit.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
maybe
the-
add like 1-2 units, whatever.
Well, they have the least work to do, right? Like they already have an aesthetic look that they want. They already have a workable game. I know I've played the mobile version more than you guys have, and that's the Auto Chess I've been playing for the last week since I've been away from a computer, and it is smooth and it works well.
Yeah.
But like, so they're probably the closest to, like, they have like a working product.
It's so interesting to me because, like, I've been talking about this for a little bit. The Auto Chess that we play, right, that we've been playing for months, we must love that game so much because the shit that we deal with, right, with matchmaking,
exactly.
like with ping, with you know, the terrible controls, like, and just like kind of choppy, like it's unoptimized, like all this shit that we deal with, but we still love the game and play it nonstop. Like the game is just honestly, the core of it is so good, and that's why like we've been playing these games recently, and we're like, well, really enjoying this, but I'm not sure if it holds up to Auto Chess. Like,
I don't think so. I think Otto Chess will be the best. Okay, I've been playing this like TFT for like a few games, so I can't really tell.
right?
But I think DAC will still be, for now, for me, I think it will be the best Auto Chess game.
Yeah.
I don't think the companies are gonna top it. To be honest, I don't know.
I
It's just
am on the
so good.
complete other end of this this idea, where I think like in this moment, I agree with you that Dota Auto Chess is the best game out of the bunch. But I think after development and after they get feedback, the other games are be really far
So
ahead of it.
you're
Like,
saying, Pheylop, you
Nah,
you have
I
faith in
don't
the big
think so.
companies, like
I
you
don't
think the
think
big you think the big companies have the development power, that kind of thing, to overcome.
yeah, like I think we have a certain nostalgia and a certain attachment to this game that we put a lot of time into.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
it's hard for us to see the depth of the newer games, and until we we play them for a substantial amount. There's a lot of complaints and there's some cool things that got changed, but like it is kind of weird to see some decisions that were made both in Droto's game as well as like Underlords. Like Underlords direction is very interesting to me, and I think Riot's is different enough where I've had a hard time not comparing it to Auto Chess directly,
Yeah,
because it definitely has elements. Obviously, it's auto battler or whatever you want to call the genre, but it's more different than the other versions are from each other.
Yeah, I think they're gonna just make the game way too casual. I think it's gonna attract a lot of new players, but I think the competitive aspect will go down. So I think it will be like I think less competitors. I feel like DAC, okay, because I haven't played the other games enough, but I feel like in DAC you have more choices right now. It feels more skill based. And I feel like Underlords and TFT, I don't know for TFT, but it looks like it's just way more casual. So I really hope they're going to change a lot. But that's so weird to say, right? A game comes out and then you say, yeah, let's just hope they change a lot so it will be good. So I don't believe that.
But the game isn't out yet, right? That's the thing. The game is not out.
it is out in a
It
week.
is-
though.
But the
It is
core,
out in a
the
week.
core
Sure.
is there, dude. The core is there.
The core is there, and I think the core is fine. But like most of our nitpicks, like for example,
So-
our nitpick, like the Riot game, a lot of it is just like, oh, I wish there's a tooltip for this. Oh, I wish this explained this.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
the fundamentals of the game, I think are pretty damn good so far.
It's
And-
interesting because the major change to both games, I actually think I
hope
like.
so.
The major change that has been in both
Yeah,
games
yeah.
of Underlords
Yeah,
and that. All right, let's go on. Let's go on to the next
So we
topic.
talked about the boom.
Talk about the boot. We did, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a patch for Auto Chess. Quickly go over this. I, from what I understand, it hasn't really changed that much. The main thing was that Beastmaster got completely reworked.
Yeah.
And that he summons minions, like kind of like a lone druid, but a weaker version, instead of throwing axes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, yeah,
Feels
there's,
really bad.
there's some nerfs. Yeah, so Rens, again, I think you played the most out of all of us over the last week in this patch.
Yeah.
How have you felt the meta's changed because of that?
I don't think it's changed the meta at all. It just
Yeah.
feels like Beastmaster is just the worst lone druid, and it's like, it's also 2 cost, right? So you can't really compare. But the old axes were so strong in like undead or like
Yeah.
4 undead, and I feel like they gave hunters more of a front line with this, and I think it's maybe a bit better for the early game, but I feel like late game it's way worse because
So-
hunters didn't. It's just wanted the damage anyway, right? Like the focus fire and then just kill the opponent like very fast. I don't think they need an extra front line. You already had like Mars and 3 and like a Tide Hunter if you get it. So I don't think they needed a Beastmaster being a tank instead of doing damage.
So 600s was becoming like really popular in the last week or two before that patch. Like it became really popular, especially with like
Yeah.
especially with Mars. Do you think that's gotten any less, or do you think it's just the same? It's just Beastmaster's worse, but it's still just as good, pretty much.
I think it's just as good because I
Yeah.
don't think BM was the core unit anyway.
Who's Medusa?
Okay. I mean, it was just Dusa, Mars,
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Beastmaster is so important for early. Like Beastmaster 2 is what carries hunters like through the early game, right? I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
early game for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's early, but I'm talking about late game. Like, of course, yeah, early game. Like he carries the damage.
That is,
Like
yeah.
you're like, oh, I have undead bonus and a Beastmaster too.
But the thing about
Fuck
hunters
yeah.
is like you can run like a temporary warrior, like 3 warrior setup of like a Lycan and stuff for the early game if you need to. It doesn't have to be like a hunter setup that you stay with hunters the whole game. Like I feel like you can build a front line and then eventually remove some of that front line, right? With and transition more to hunters. Like take your undead bonus and take your orc bonus if you want, that kind of thing. I feel like the 600 moving towards that is still quite good.
Yeah, but 600 have been like super meta. Like I
Yeah,
think that's still decently new, right? I think
Yeah.
it's it's not very new, but it's one of the newest things. And I
Yeah,
feel
well,
like a lot of people playing on Chinese servers, and they all tell me that no one plays almost hunters there.
Really?
So a lot of people have just been grinding ranks and just playing hunters on Chinese servers and just ranking up that way.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
so
saying
you meant that they are playing a lot.
no.
of
He's
people
saying
on
other
China.
people. He's saying that the Western players are playing hunters on China and winning with it.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But it's like I think like the biggest like push for hunters to be more popular was people just being like, oh, I just build a Mars 3 and then 6 hunters is insane.
Yeah,
Or like
also,
like that was like one of the biggest things where it's like, oh, like, I don't know what kind of front line. Oh, I think that's the sound.
You could back up
I
with a
just heard
Trent
the sound of
3.
me getting in to the league client. All right, continue.
Trent 3 was fine, right? Trent 3 was a fine replacement, but it wasn't it wasn't nearly as good, but like it was a replacement that you could do. If you couldn't find 9 Marses, right, you'll need to find 4 trees and a lone druid.
But like there weren't enough options before when people were thinking about it certain ways where it's like, oh, I could go like 4 undead and kind of have an Abaddon as the front line.
Originally,
like,
it was only tree, right? Like you had to get tree.
Like,
only
tree with 3 elves is like okay, but like you were never like super happy with it.
Which also
But I think
kind of
it's, like,
sucked because
additional options.
Go ahead, Rens.
I think the Treant is still like one of the best. Like you cannot guarantee a Mars 3 every single game, and I think Mars 2 just falls off late game anyway. So you want to build a tree still. Like if you cannot go Mars 3, you're gonna go Treant.
Yeah, I would build both of
It's
them if
still
I
the
didn't hit
best
the
front
Mars,
line.
and I would sell them.
I mean, absolutely, but I'm saying just the additional option with
Yeah.
more people
Yeah.
being like, "Oh wait, this is another way I can go
Yeah.
front line."
Because
with
if you don't
Hunter. Man,
have
it's so
that
much
unit
better.
right, if you don't have that tree 3 or Marcy, you get rolled. You need to have that really tanky
Yeah,
front line to buy enough time to deal damage, or you just freaking die, right?
Yeah, I mean, once they break through your once they start killing hunters, then you don't kill anything fast enough.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. But
Yeah, but it was also that like hunters kinda lose to mages, and also like mages fell off pretty hard because of the night meta, right? Like the 6 night meta was really high, so people stopped playing mage almost altogether because they just instantly lose to knights, and that makes hunters way more viable as well, right? So when there are less mages, hunter becomes way better. Like hunter needs that naga, otherwise they just get destroyed by mages. Or you have to get like insane items or your Dusa and it gets like really fast.
Yep.
But most of the time, hunters lose to mages, and if there's not that many mages, hunters are like one of the best comps.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the hunters are actually doing like, especially once you got Dusa 2, the hunters are start doing well against knights, and that was one of the reasons that mages went away, right? Was all of the knight players once which is funny, once the knight buff happened, that really wasn't that important, but knights were just good already, kind of thing. So yeah, like mages kind of went away, but now there's a reason to play them again. But it feels so bad still. Like to play mages and then you go against six knights and you just like you have no chance.
So when the 2 knight players, getting first with mages is super hard. Like it's almost you have to almost like hope that the knight players like die to some other people because you're mostly gonna lose against all the knight players anyway. So mages are not that strong, but I think they're still
you don't have that
viable.
many outs, right? Like you're like, I hope they kill each other, or I get a lucky
Yeah.
round and they don't have shields, or I spike an Enigma too. Like there's just like a few things that you're like playing towards, but like you're like, oh, my like core consistent like team is not effective at the end game.
I think there's
Yeah.
very few matchups in Auto Chess that are like larger than like 60-40. Like I think most matchups in the game, like there's favored, unfavored, but I think usually whoever's the better units ends up winning, right? Like knight versus elves. Like I think elves are favored in that, but you can totally see knights win that all the time. Like I think that mages versus knights is like an exception to that. I think mages versus knights is like quite unfavored. Like
That's really bad.
like it's one of those things where like
But
you
I
have to really like be like, can I avoid going this?
I think some matchups are worse than that. I feel like elves kind of just beats knights, to be honest. When we're talking
Really?
about this exact same cost comp, right? So when you have the same exact cost comp knights, the same cost elves, I think elves win 90% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, right.
so-
I'm saying elves are favored in that, but I'm saying
You
like
need to have just a better like a higher cost comp to maybe try to win, right? That's maybe what you mean. Like you have to have two DKs or something, and the other one only has to have
Right.
one
Six-
STA2.
60-40 is already a pretty big swing, right?
But
Like,
if you're mages against knights, I feel like as long as you guys have your compositions, right? You actually have your compositions built. Unless mage has enigma, the mage never wins. Even with like a lot better of a team, I feel like the mage just almost never wins. Like if they have their compositions built, even if the mage is ahead in gold, if it's not enigma, I just feel like the mage never just have a chance.
I mean, you can
I
win
think
it
they're
in low.
okay. I don't know if I agree. I actually think that like, unless like there's like CK3 or Luna 3, like the mages are like, once the core comps are built, like they're still like okay. Like you might not take like a million damage. Like I think it's far worse to be like elves against like 600s or something. Like that actually feels worse to me than mages
Oh
versus
man,
knights.
I lost. So I was playing, and Sleet said something to me like that matchup's really one sided. Hunters versus elves. Just, there's some logic to that, right? All the precision stuff. And then I had like this ridiculous hunter comp, 600 comp. I went against like a elf comp who had less gold than me. I had better items. Got 9-0'd. I don't know what
mean,
happened.
the
It's
thing
just
is, like,
RNG,
it's just
right?
the percentages, right? Like,
Right,
They just
yeah.
like you're like, oh, I have a chance to like pierce their dodge and like whatever, but then they still just like, no, just kidding. I'm still a dodge everything. You're like, well,
I definitely
must
just
be
got
nice.
very unlucky in the fight, but it was just really funny because like right after that conversation, and I like sent him a screenshot of like
Oh yeah,
took, like,
I've also
20 damage.
got the thing where I level up and I put in my 6th knight and I play against
Got
mages,
0
and
shields.
my whole team just gets 0 shields and annihilated. And I take 25 damage, and I'm like, well, like that's happened on stream, and like everyone's just like,
Yep.
hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can happen.
I mean, mages sometimes beat knights as well, right? If you don't get any knight shields during the
Yeah, that's true.
blast.
That's true.
I mean, that's the same with the elves against hunters, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
You're just gonna win. You're gonna lose sometimes because of just how much RNG there is still in the fights, right?
That was the nice thing about 2-4-6 knights. It felt more consistent, right? And then you could also like stack them more often. I don't know. 2-4-6 felt so good, but also was kind of broken at the
I
time.
think 2-4-6 was too strong. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
feels
also
really bad when there's so many shields that like you're like, all my units are hitting this unit
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
still actually doing 0 damage.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was a little too much.
Yeah, and now the troll knight build right now is pretty balanced. So it's like I think they made a good change. I think the 6 knight buff is just way too strong still, but at least the troll knight comp is like it's pretty balanced.
You're talking
It's not that
about
great.
the warlock build or 6 knight?
Yeah, the
troll?
warlock build. So
Okay.
the old troll knight build got away, right? It's been replaced by the other troll knight build, and
Right.
at least that build is like pretty balanced, right? It's not that great, but it's pretty good as well. So they
Yeah.
at least fixed that the troll knight build, because that was way too broken like a few months ago.
All right, let's move on to some conversation about the games that released over the last week that we've been playing nonstop. Well, not really Pheylop because he's been doing it.
I've
Two-
been
two-
playing
two out of
multiple
three.
chess.
Yeah, 2 out of 3.
Alright.
Two out of
Underlords,
three, at
right?
least. Some people try their best to like try new games, but
Yeah, yes, Pheylop refuses, absolutely refuses. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have a computer, guys. Have mercy.
He will only play Auto Chess mobile. So,
The game is actually sweet, guys. I don't know. Try it out, man. Just when you're pooping, just whip it out and just play a game. It's pretty
Damn.
good.
that's yeah, that's a long.
Jesus Christ.
That's a
I
long
mean, hey,
time.
just chilling, Just
Okay.
chilling.
All right.
So, Underlords, I think everyone watching this podcast knows this, but Underlords surprise release after Riot announced, and then like 72 hours later, Underlords just be like, it's out. Have fun. It's a beta. You have to have the International Battle Pass to play. And
Yep.
I've been playing it a ton. Rens has been playing it a ton.
I've played
Pheylop's
some.
played some, yeah. We played quite a bit last night. So yeah. Pheylop, I'm gonna go right to you actually, even though you played the least. How was your impressions yesterday?
God, I really don't like the camera angle, actually.
Camera angle, okay.
I don't like the camera angle. I think the item system is really good. I think the items themselves are really
Yeah.
badly balanced.
Oh,
The idea of every round getting an item and everyone gets one, super sweet. The idea
Yeah.
that some people get fucking busted items and some people just get weird synergy options,
yeah.
not so nice. Other than that, like it's visually very confusing right now, but I have confidence that Valve will clean it up as it gets closer to release. That's not really concerning to me. Overall, like it makes sense as a successor to the custom game version, and I like the most of the small changes they've done. They've kind of like changed the passes a little bit to be a little more exciting. I wasn't really paying attention the first time I played. I like did not. I thought I was glitching all over the place because I didn't understand what my hunters were doing. I was like, why is this guy shooting like 8 missiles? I have no idea why Dusa has an auto attack that hits multiple things. That doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like there's no drawback, it just does it. Whatever. But overall, I would say satisfactory with an asterisk. Like just the item thing is bothersome enough where it nags me every game, and I get like a bad feeling in certain situations where I don't want to have. Like, I don't know. But overall, I actually am like pretty happy with it. Just once they clean up a bit more, I'll have a better judgment on it.
Let me rant for a sec about this item. Let me show you this. Okay,
Go ahead.
This is the item. These are the items. Okay, this is how this is. You see the screen here? You pick an item at the end of every creep round. Okay. Now you might notice in the middle there's something that says Hunter's Focus, and it's an item that applies specifically to hunters. Now you'll notice there actually are hunters in the background. That's completely irrelevant. You can get this item no matter what what you're running. Irrelevant to what you're running, you can get the item. You can get an item for any synergy. This is creating, in my opinion, a worse item RNG, like the discrepancy of item RNG than Auto Chess had, which is one of the major complaints of Auto Chess throughout its whole lifespan has been the items. And in this game, pretty much you are off at the end of every round. You can be offered these synergy items that you're just not going to pick because they don't fit your composition. You just can't take the item if you don't have the units for it, right? You just can't make yourself do that. It doesn't make any sense. Like if you want to pivot to something and it has the item, then sure, but you have to have a unit for it at least. So all these time you're offered these synergy items, and it's not even an option of what you want to take. It's like, okay, I have 6 warriors. I'm offered a knight synergy item, and there's no way in hell I'm taking it. There's just I don't have a knight in my bench, so effectively now I have 2 options, and that can go down to 1 or 0, or down to just a singular really 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 bad item like tier 1 item. And so pretty much what happens is these same item discrepancies happen. It's just the difference is that the person with really weak items has a few items as opposed to like a few tangos. And then the person at the very top has like 3 Daedalus, a refresher, and a Salt Cuirass, and 1 extra slot on their board. Like,
Yep.
So I think they actually managed to make the item RNG in this game more one-sided than it is in Auto Chess, or more have a higher disparity than it is in Auto Chess. And that really bugs me. I think the first thing to do is just remove these synergy items, because I don't see really what they add to the game. They're a bit complex, right? They're a bit kind of cool in that way. They're not add 21 attack damage to yourself like a Claymore. They're kind of cool in that way. But you can make more cool, fun items that are neutral. You don't have to make them synergy based. So I really would like to see these removed like completely, but I don't know if they'll do that. But God, it's actually my number 1 complaint with Underlords are these items.
Well, yeah, they're probably not gonna remove it, right? I mean, this is my problem with these synergy things. It is really fun, right? It's just like you get this thing. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm gonna force this comp this game because I got like the mech thing or the hunter thing or whatever, or the beast thing. I just go, oh, I'll just play the beast right now. It's really fun. I'm gonna do like some cool stuff, but it's not really like competitively viable. That's like my problem. It's like, if you high roll into that, it's way Omega broken. If you're playing Hunters and you get this item on round 15, it's super overpowered. I mean, it's just way too high rolly of items. And exactly with the Skull Basher and like the Crystallis and the Daedalus. I mean, the items are just way too good, and some items are like really bad as well. So,
right.
But that's mostly a balance thing, though. And
yeah, exactly.
Like I can't really complain a lot about balance about games being in beta. Like Hunters were way too broken, but I also was like, yeah, I mean, that's gonna happen, right? In TFT something's gonna be broken as well, and yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with it. The game just came out anyway, for me, like the game is more like how it looks and how it feels is way worse than DAC. That's why I got like really burned out after like 3 days of playing. When I played DAC, I could play DAC for months, 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm already burned out on Underlords. I don't know, man.
But the whole balancing, that's why I pick on the synergy items specifically, is that those don't really get better. I feel like they're always going to be those things that you see and you're like, you either take them or you don't. Like I feel like they're always going to be those things that are just such obvious choices, and that bugs me.
Well, it's not. There's no thinking involved. You're like, am I this?
I don't
yes
know.
or no. That's all it is. There's no like, oh, like, is it maybe right? You know, I think that if they toned down the synergy items and made them weaker and made them all early game items that drop in the first few rounds, that's like kind of cool. That might work. But I do like that they're pushing the design space with items and having basically passive items that go over everything. You know, like, I think it's a good idea. I don't think they should be synergy based, but if it was an item that kind of said like you take 10% less damage, I'd be like, super cool item, sick item. You know, you can compare it to other items, and it might go into any kind of composition.
How do you feel about no item combinations and only one item per person? I feel like it's all a package personally, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
Like, yeah, I really liked it in the beginning for some reason, but I really hate it right now. Sometimes you have 10 items, they have 9 units.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that happens.
What the fuck? And then you have also, you have a lot of bad items as well in the early stage, and like you cannot combine them. So when you get a Gloss of Haste or like a 50% mana gain item, like you can't almost use it late game because it doesn't combine into everything. So it's like really bad.
Yeah, that's actually happened a lot, right?
Almost.
Like on Medusa, putting a Voidstone Medusa is like considered a bad play. Like it's so much better to put like a Daedalus or something on her. Like,
is it reasonable for there to be like 3 slots per unit, or do you think that's like just too much?
That's what they have in TFT, right?
Oh, is it 3 slots?
Yeah, it's 3 in
put
TFT,
enough items on it to like find out.
It might be reasonable. It's just it's scary, right? Because they have to think about like how insane are hyper carries when you give them 3 Daedaluses. Like is that?
That seems like a bad play.
It's this issue where like, is everyone just gonna go for only comps where it's like a bunch of protective stuff and a carry? Because that kind of gets boring, right, meta wise. So I don't know.
But you don't want a situation where they're like mom Daedalus on like their sniper too, and you're like, oh god, oh dear, you know. So maybe make it harder to get those items. I don't know. Like I played a game yesterday where I got second place. I was like, well, I only got second place was Daedalus mom dropped. So like it felt bad to do okay because of it.
Right.
I mean, I feel like they made very strong items, but then balanced in the way that you only can have one item on one unit, right? So the items are way too strong. You can get a Sacred Relic on level on round 10.
Yep.
Plus 60 damage.
Yep.
That's insane. So like,
it's more than a lot of level 1 units.
All the items if you want to put more items on like one unit. So I think they just chose for the one item on one unit and then just make the items like super strong. And also it's just way better for mobile, right? Let's be honest. Like all these choices were basically made for. Yeah, it's way easier for mobile to put one item on them. So
that's another topic for about this game.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it's what it is.
Yeah, but like, can't you just separate the games? Like, make both and have some small differences between them, so they don't have to like mobile players can never be competitive with PC players. It's not possible.
I mean, Hearthstone does that.
Okay, in a game that actually where APM is impactful. Sorry, in obviously Hearthstone, yes, you can do it, but in a game like this, like, there's no way mobile players can compete with PC players in this game.
Yeah.
And even more so in Auto Chess. So I feel like no matter what they do, PC players are always gonna have an advantage. So like if you just separate the games, you don't have to make those concessions to try to make mobile feel better. You can keep those on mobile and then also make PC better, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why they dumbed the game down, probably, right?
Right.
Because they just it's a mobile game. Let's be honest, it's made for mobile. It looks like a mobile game, and they want to also have people playing it on the PC. But it's a mobile first game, and that really sucks.
I mean, it's kind of interesting,
really sucks.
though, because like Valve's never done a mobile game before, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about. So we are. I feel like we're speaking for like the competitive community,
Right.
and I feel like it's a way worse for us.
Yeah, like-
it's way probably for casual players. It's awesome for the new casual players that don't want to struggle like having to accept 15 times in Dota 2 client, right, to get a match, just failing all the time. This is perfect for them. But I feel like for a competitive standpoint, for people that want to try their best in this game, like try to get rank 1, like it's a I don't know. I don't really like it at all.
So
Well,
I don't.
you want to make
go
as
ahead.
many decisions as possible, right? Like
Yeah.
the more decisions you have to make, the more higher the skill cap is. So like
For sure.
the item thing, I think that they can still change a bit, but I would say overall, I'm still happy that they were willing to go in a different direction than Drodo had it, and I think that it was the right thing to do. But it is very imperfect at the moment, and it currently is worse than other systems. But I think it has the potential to be better.
So when it comes to we're talking about many decisions as possible. When we played a strategy game like this, I want to watch. I mean, this we can't do this like literally, but if I were to watch myself, Rens, and Pheylop, which are all good players, if we watch all of us play a full game of Auto Chess or a full game of Underlords, whatever, and we watch it all the way through, I want us to have completely different outcomes at the end of the game, right? Because there's so many decisions that are all valid. I want us to all make different choices, and one of us makes the choices that gets us a better placement than the rest, right? That's really what I want to have. And I feel like, especially with the items currently in Underlords, we're likely going to have the same items. We're likely going to choose the same stuff. And I feel like that's something that can easily be changed, actually. Like they just need to make everything closer, and maybe make on creep rounds, maybe make it like it has to be all tier 1 items and all tier 2 items, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I would be down for something like, if you were like able to take, like if they showed you 5 items and then it's all like combinable items, and you were able to take like one of the highest tier item or 2 lower tier items.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like there's like
that adds a lot of choice.
Space.
Yeah,
there's so
that's
much
true.
design space. But like at the moment, what they do show you, it's literally every good player making the same decision every time, because it's like all 3 of us would be like, are we playing hunters? Oh, we are. I guess we're taking this hunter thing.
Right.
Oh, are we taking boots? Are we taking blade dagger? Or are we taking this item that actually does something? Oh, we took the item that does something. Very surprising.
Boots.
Boots feel so bad, dude. It feels so useless.
Dude, I get across the
exactly.
across the
no
field.
one's gonna fucking take that.
My assassins that blink up across the field, man, I can give them the boots and they blink across the field in the same time. Hell yeah.
Dude, the Bloodseeker with boots, though. Holy moly.
Hey, it runs around really fast, yeah.
It runs around really fast, but it's super useless.
But then you're like,
Doesn't
wait,
matter.
there's all these other items to put on it, right? Like, it
Wait.
just doesn't matter. Especially when there's only 1 slot for every character. It's just so stupid. Like, why? Like, if you had like 5 slots, I'd be like, man, boots are actually like kind of cool. Like, it leaves me some space. But then like, I'm like, well, if I put these boots on this Bloodseeker, I can't put on any DPS items, which are much more important, So, once again, I think once they redesign it a bit and they hone it and sharpen it, there's a lot of cool stuff they can do with the system. I think this is a very ham-fisted way of throwing it like in initially, and the response is adequate, where we're all like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I think that's the general response is like, this item system is currently worse than the DAC system.
I've had a lot of people disagree with me, but yeah.
Wait, really? Really? What have they been saying? Well, like, no, it's fine. Like, what are they saying?
I can't get a good answer out of them after they disagree.
So that's not really disagreeing.
No,
that's
no.
them being contrarian.
Yeah,
They're not actually...
well, probably biased, but yeah. That's one thing we've seen a lot in the last week, is a lot of bias between the game genres.
A lot of bias.
Yeah.
On this show as well, by the way, some people, but yeah, for sure.
You?
For sure. Not me, no, totally not biased. No, but so I think the good thing about Underlords is like I really like the 1 item thing, right? After a round, that feels really good, because it really makes for like not being like super high rolly, in the sense you got like, oh, this game I got 6 items, and the previous game I got 0. You don't have those high lows, but you have them with the quality of the items. But you at least have the consistency of getting items. So that feels way better. It's just that the items are really off. But I feel like that's the only improvement the game actually has, like that choice.
Yeah,
and
I'm
the
in the
rest
same
is
boat.
all worse.
Does it feel better though? I don't think it's like boots, blade dagger.
Well, no,
No,
it doesn't feel better because of what we said
doesn't feel
otherwise,
better.
right? Yeah.
No, I mean,
The
I said
idea
it,
is
right?
better.
The balance is off, but it does feel better in the sense that you always get an item to choose from. That system is really good in my
But
opinion.
then they make the other system better too with tangos and mangoes. But then I guess tango became not getting an item. There's always the not getting an
Well-
item. You know, like there's always gonna be that.
Okay,
Mango's
the
too
Tango Mango
broken, dude.
system
Come on,
was
man.
really dumb, dude.
It's really dumb.
Yeah, like they made it worse. Mango. It ended up being that Tango was the low roll and Mango was the high roll.
All right,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Though. Like, all right. Don't worry about how balanced it was. I'm just saying, no matter how you change the system,
Yeah.
there's always the equivalent of not getting an item.
but you want to
right?
make that
Like,
differential as small as possible, right? That's the
Yeah,
goal.
sure.
And they haven't
Yeah.
done that.
No, they kind of exacerbated the problem
Yeah.
further but like they thought they were putting a band-aid on it. But like once again, right direction, poor execution. There's another chance to do it. The game's not.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I mean. I agree with it. It's a good direction, but it's poor execution. But I also I mean I had a lot of fun playing the game though. Like I love playing Pudge, Bloodseeker, Slark. I mean I had a lot of fun playing Underlords. It's just that I'm burned out after 4 days, and that's really weird. So yeah.
Well, it's weird. I've only played this game for one day, right? Like I played yesterday. I played a bunch of games, and today Teamfight Tactics dropped, and I have got to say that I am more interested in playing more games of Teamfight Tactics than I am in playing more games of Underlords.
I'm so
I'm not
surprised.
able to quantify it yet, and obviously I do come from League, but I haven't played League in 6 months.
I'm so
You know, like,
surprised.
I mean, I've been playing Dota for 6 months. Rens, like, I'm not biased. Like,
Let's
in
talk
that
about
sense.
let's talk about TFT.
Dude, you were so happy that you got to play with your heroes, dude.
So
I mean,
Or champions.
here's
That's biased, but that's fine. That's totally fine.
No,
here's
let's
the
talk
thing
about
about
it.
it though,
I'm
right?
happy to talk about
Here's the thing about TFT is it's not just to me it's the fact that it is different heroes and all that. It's not necessarily that like those are what I know because I'm playing the game and I'm like I feel like I'm more confused than Rens, which is probably isn't the case, but I feel that way. It's just that it's all different, and because it's all different, I can't make like a qualitative like this is better than this because I don't freaking know what's going on because it's all so different, and that's
I mean,
that's
that's
kind of why
awesome.
I'm enjoying it more, right? It's
That's
all
how I
different.
feel even more than you. But like, they just chose random words like noble, imperial. What the
Yeah,
fuck does that
yeah,
mean
yeah.
in reference to League of Legends? Who knows what that means? And then like the abilities are just like the abilities are of the champion, so you know what they do. But like, how am I supposed to like just know like oh well like this character is this? I'm like I would not have made that assumption. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, the
Mordekaiser's
abilities
a
help
knight.
though,
I'm
but
like,
yeah.
that guy doesn't have a horse. Wait, none of these knights have horses. They just chose this word. Okay, whatever. Let's go with it. But like, it's fun to learn, and I'm really interested because it's a lot of stuff to pick up. Whereas in Underlords, it felt like I was trying to figure out the differences from something I already knew. Whereas Teamfight Tactics is I'm trying to build up a whole new base of knowledge, but using the same framework of a game that I already know I like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I really want to play a lot of TFT because it feels so new to me, and I just want to learn all the new stuff. So I'm gonna have like way better time playing this game on Underlords because, like you said, I'm just comparing Underlords to DAC. I feel like I'm not really comparing TFT to DAC that much because
Yeah,
it's
it's hard.
so much new stuff, and like even all the synergies are not the same. So it's like way different. So you can't compare them, and that's really fun. Like I feel like I'm a super noob.
I think that's why it feels fresh. Like
Yeah, it does
like
feel fresh.
Underlords is a feel a little stale to us. Like because it's like they took like a food we liked and like put some other seasoning on it and like re-microwaved it and we're like, how's this? And then like right now it feels like TFT is like going to a different restaurant and ordering the same dish, but they're gonna do it differently. Like it just I don't know. I like Underlords, but I am enjoying TFT more. Maybe I'll feel differently once I play enough TFT that like it's not
That's what I
new,
want.
you know.
How do you
Yeah, exactly.
how do you guys
That's-
feel about
that's
the
what I wanted.
carousel? Right, that's the big change. The big change is actually a lot different than everything else is the
I
carousel.
think
right?
maybe you have to explain what the carousel does.
Yeah,
before.
sure. Yeah, let me talk about it. So the carousel, every 6 rounds, I think it is. Every 6 rounds.
And at the beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning as well. It's your first. It's how you get your first unit. Is you all go to this circle, and you all pick you all one by one. At the very start, it's everyone to go at the same time. But it's throughout the game, it's one by one with the lowest health starting first, the highest health going last. Picks a unit that has equipped with it an item, and you pick that unit and you get it. That's pretty much it. But you have to run to the unit and get it because it's a carousel. It's rotating, and you're all around the carousel. So you all run to the carousel and you try to get it. And so it's not just the order that matters, but the positioning you are. Like if the unit that you want is on the other side of the carousel, it's kind of a pain to get, and someone else might get it before you. And so pretty much you're getting a unit and an item. Go ahead, Pheylop.
Okay, so my God, I love the carousel. It is the best thing to happen to this kind of game for like the viewer experience. So people who are like, you just get to watch people just fucking screw over other people, take their unit that they're not going to use, get the item off it, and sell the unit for gold. And like that is just hilarious. Imagine casters casting that. It's just so good. And there's so many different levels of decision making, and it's like, oh hey, later on it's like, you screwed me over earlier by taking a unit I needed. I'm gonna take the unit that you need and screw you over. And there's, it's not smart to do that, but there's always gonna be like that kind of like tone.
It'll be really fun in voice chat with people when we actually understand the game.
Dude, yeah. I really like that you start out with, I'm gonna try to fuck other people over instead of looking for something I can use. So
like that's so Pheylop.
Like, I'm saying just the viewer experience.
No. I'm just yeah, of course, but like I'm just looking for stuff I can use, and I think you should start with that, and maybe after that you can try to fuck people over.
But there's so many different levels of thinking. It's
yeah,
so
good.
Of
course. But I like
this. Yeah. So if there's like a great item and a unit that I don't really need that someone else really needs, that's like pretty high on the priority list.
It is a very complicated 30 seconds.
Is a unit that I really need with a good item on it. If this unit I need and it's cheaper than this unit that someone else is, like there's so many different levels of thinking for the carousel.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good. I don't know. I'm biased on the carousel, guys. I love the carousel. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's
good
really
for
fun.
tournaments. Like
it's also
casters. Yeah,
I like it as well. I also don't like. Sometimes you have like a legendary unit and sometimes a one-cost unit. That feels really bad sometimes as well, man. Like. Oh, that feels rough.
I've already seen people take the one-cost unit over the legendary unit because they need it. And I think that
of course. But also, if you don't need it, like that feels bad if you're last.
I think it's super cool that it's a moment in this kind of game where all the players are in the same spot interacting. The other games don't have that. I think that's
we didn't talk about the loneliness of Underlords. We have to talk about that. We have to.
Oh, where you're fucking on your island and everyone's like somewhere else?
Back up a sec. Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. Yeah. And I'm going to pass this right to Rens because Rens is the one who talked about it the most and got me think about it the most. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the biggest problem with, I think I said it on the first day I played it, and I think a lot of people are echoing it, was like you feel like you're playing a single player game, right? You have no movement. It feels like you're playing AI for some reason. You don't really get the feel of playing a multiplayer game because you can't really go visit them, but you don't have any interaction with them. Only then just seeing their copy coming on your boards, and that feels really bad. No all chat. Like at least TFT all chat. Like you can only spam yo, and like some RNG hates me type of stuff. Like you can just yo people. It is awesome though, yoing people. I love to yo people. But it's
it's the same thing as the Hearthstone shit talk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to spam something.
Yeah. So it feels really lonely, and I think a lot of people echoed it, and I think it's really hard to get out of it because it's a mobile game. So I feel like mobile games are kind of made for playing by yourself, right? It's not really.
But the issue is playing the mobile game in a setting that's not a mobile game. Like I don't care if I feel lonely when I'm playing the Drodo version because I'm literally like, taking a shit. Like whatever, it's okay if I feel alone.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
There's a bunch of stuff to do. I want more interaction out of it.
So
that's what I mean.
Feel involved.
Exactly.
After I felt a little bit, and then Rens really elaborated on it, and I read more about it. There's other things people point out about it. They're like really true. Like, oh yeah, that just isn't there. And that's like when you play on Dota Auto Chess, and some guy has an SF on round 4, you hear it. Right? You hear the SF around you, and you're like, oh shit, that's a really early SF. We have a mage player already, right? Like you have that feel. You don't hear the people's boards at all in this game. In fact, the only way to look around people's boards is by tabbing or clicking their name, and it just like teleports you there, and it does not feel like they're in the same place as you, with which they're not, but it just doesn't feel like they're playing the same game.
They copied Drodo's mobile version of how to like move around, which like doesn't make sense on a desktop version at all.
Well, again, we go back to the whole, they're making a mobile game that's also the same as PC, right? Instead of separating them.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels a little bad, and I think once the developers test it more and play more, they'll start to feel it a bit more too. I hope. I know, like, they've been working on it hard, but like, I don't know if like the weird like underlying feelings that people are having are part of the focus of the game. I imagine that they're too tired to think about something like that. So I hope as they get feedback on it, they're able to change it so that the feel of it, the texture of it is different.
Right.
I think Underlords is a great mobile game, and I think that's also the complaint.
I can agree with that.
It's
Actually,
a great mobile game, but it's not a PC game. So it's a positive and a negative, right? If you like to play mobile, probably Underlords is a very good game for you. But if you like to play on PC, you probably should not play Underlords.
Yeah,
you're trying to be like competitive at least.
I
like,
think it's
keep it at
probably like from what I've seen. Honestly, the only mobile I've watched really is like watching Oren play mobile. I'll be honest here, but I've watched a decent amount of that. Shout out to definitely not Oren. He's awesome. I think this game might do mobile better than that game. Like, it's really good for mobile. The whole singular item thing is like really good. There's so many parts about it that just feel like this is very good mobile game. The auto combine system, which I don't like normally because if I have 9 razors, I want to choose whether I'm using 2 razor 2s or a razor 3. But in mobile,
more options.
You need to go faster. You don't have the actions because you're on a screen, right? So
TFT has as well, right?
Right, yeah, TFT has it as well. Yeah, TFT has that same auto combine thing.
And TFT really needs to add overflowing. I think that's a thing that would help.
Yes, I think that's my biggest complaint about TFT actually. You know what? We can go back. We can go talk. We just had to touch on that note.
Yeah, we want to address that. And TFT also like has a different map layout, which I thought was a terrible idea initially, but I actually have been enjoying the way it affects combat. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I need more experience.
Okay. Damn, I really don't like it. Damn, man, my units per page are so hard sometimes, where they just don't move, and they have the space to move, but they don't for some reason. I don't know.
There's 2 issues I have with it. First of all, I think Pheylop said it's all aesthetic about the hexes on the board. I actually don't agree with that. When I see everything spawn and I see how they line up with the hexes being on board, if I see that at the very start, it makes me think more about next turn's positioning. It gives me kind of I did this wrong, I should do that instead. If there's no hexes there, I'm like, is there even a spot next to it? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you know that they're like, you see the hexes when you're placing units, so you know it's there. If anything,
but not at the time, right?
It actually adds like another layer of like having to understand the game better.
I mean, that's like such a base level thing though. Like, it's not a thing that like I want to like. It's a thing that will just eventually you'll understand, as opposed to something that you can like.
But
really,
you feel like it's an unnecessary
learn.
barrier.
Yeah, I feel like there's ways.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I've talked about this a lot in games, is that there's different ways to increase skill level, and you can increase skill levels in really like ways that just aren't enjoyable whatsoever. Like, I can make it so that I was gonna say a StarCraft analogy. That'd be a terrible idea. No one here plays StarCraft. No. All right,
you can make it so in order to select a unit, you have to hit like 6 different keys on your keyboard.
Yeah,
really stupid.
Thank you. That's a way better analogy than I was gonna make. Just like something like it makes the game harder and you'll get better at it, but it's not enjoyable, and it's not something that I'd be like, oh wow, that guy's really good. He hits those 6 keys well. Like, no. So it's the same thing about the whole positioning. Like, I want to be able to see and understand, and then, in a strategy game, I want to be able to be like, okay, move that there, and then, that works better. But if I don't have the hexes there, then at the start of the next round, I'll be like, okay, there is a hex there, but I might not even notice that that's the spot I should move it to unless I see their hexes as well. That kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
the layout
I did
just
agree
helps.
with you guys that I don't think it should be not an option to see the hexes.
Yeah.
And you know what? When they come out with that option, I am turning all my hexes on for fucking ever.
Yeah.
But I do think that it is not as big of a problem as you guys think it is. I do think it's like, it's a nice fix to have. It's a quality of life improvement. That's what it is to me.
Overall with the board, I felt that I was very confused about whether my units would actually be attacked or not. I think that would go away in time, but I think that that's an issue overall. Like, I feel like you should be able to know that. But regardless, regardless of that, I felt okay with it in the early game. The later in the game it got, the more it felt like I was just like, it was actually just very obvious what I was doing. I was putting my damage dealers in a corner and then surrounding them. And I felt like I had no other options because you're so close to the enemy that like if you do anything else, you're getting flanked. Like,
that is
feel like
exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a corner game. Like, do you want to be in the opposite corner or in the same corner as them?
Yeah,
That's your
exactly.
option. I feel like there's no middle thing. Like being in the middle feels
You
like
need
useless.
so many frontliners to
Like,
surround that. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
it's yeah.
here's the thing though.
I don't
Like,
know.
I hope that we just have not played enough games, and when we review this video in a few
Yeah,
weeks,
for sure.
we'll look like idiots, and people
Yeah,
will be like,
maybe.
"Oh yeah, obviously you just put like 2 like DPS in the corners and put like a front line in front of them and each side and split your enemy's team." Like, or
Exactly.
if everyone's doing that, you plays differently. But like, I think right now
I agree.
the first like 3 or 4 games I played, I've been like 3 DPS in the back, surround them with meat shields,
Yep.
hope for the best.
Yep.
Oh, that's assassin weird.
We're all beginners, dude. We're all palm players, right? We just pick like some fun synergies, and then we just put our tanks in front, ranged in the back, right? It's just we've only playing like 3-4 games, right? So it's really hard to judge what it is. But
initially, that's what we all did in Auto Chess too.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay,
So,
meat
fine.
shields in the front, DPS in the back. It wasn't
Yeah.
until like a week in that I started doing like vertical hunters and shit like that. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's gonna be stuff like that in this game as well.
yeah. There's
but-
probably stuff like that we're missing.
But do you guys the first impression about the diagonal goal instead of the
no, I
normal
prefer
goal?
the normal currently.
So yeah, what do you think, Pheylop? Because the first impression, right? We're talking first impression. So I don't like it. It feels worse, but I don't know. It feels way worse, but hopefully
I believe
it's
that
not worse.
I think it feels worse. I like the options it opens up, but I don't think the coding is perfect for it.
What
yet,
if they
and
just add one more
therefore
row?
it's annoying, confused.
Yeah, coding is really bad. Yeah, I said it earlier, but yeah, some units can just not walk,
still
even
buggy.
though they
Yeah.
should be able to walk.
The behavior is too unpredictable, right? So like, if you cannot predict what your unit will do, it makes you feel like your decision matters less, and that is a feel bad. So
That's what. Sorry.
So that's just something that they have to change. But I like objectively just the idea of like hexagonal or like box like things that aren't just boxes stacking up on each other. I think actually is supposed to make for more interesting placement and composition. I just don't think everything else is up to snuff yet, and that I think that it will be cooler in the coming week.
What if they just added a row? And
I don't think they need to
hex?
because of the way the game is. We've noticed that like you fucking take 1 million damage, and the teams are smaller even towards the end game.
Yeah.
So like,
I think
Yeah, we'll see.
But,
we'll see.
But I'm asking Rens mostly. If they kept the hex and added a row, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, I think I would be way happier.
Yeah,
Because I
me
feel
too.
so cramped up. Even though you have 7 units, right, or 6, you still feel like I'm cramped up. Like, it's just so much less space.
You don't have the
than-
option of not putting a unit on the front. It feels like the front row, right? You have to put a unit there.
Yeah. But I wanted to say that, like, I think going back to
not.
Unloads for a minute. So I think Unloads did like an improvement on like positioning, right? I feel like DAC had a lot of Pepega positioning where like units switched targets if they moved. And I feel like Underlords actually did good in that
Yeah,
sense,
they did.
where like
The AI is
the
very good at
movement is
Underlords,
way
yeah.
more smooth. Yeah, the AI is way better. The smoothness is way better of the fights. It's like way easier to control the fights. I'm not sure about TFT though. Like we just played for fun in a few games, so
Is that
I didn't
I would-
really look.
I would
going
definitely
on?
say for TFT, like, I feel like I personally, if I was a developer, I feel like I wouldn't have released the version for another like few days of working on it. It feels a little bit underdeveloped,
Philip?
even for a
Yeah.
beta.
But everything was on the event.
Is the Pepega like the bad unit behavior in Auto Chess? Is that still the case in mobile?
So the target switching.
Because
and the
because I thought that had a lot to do with how the custom game system worked and like the restrictions
the
that they
dodging
had.
spells, the whole
Yeah.
dodge spells. Man. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
So
So
that doesn't
annoying.
really happen in the game, but like your wind rangers are still kind of Pepega sometimes, and your Coddles can still Pepega.
Well, yeah, but that's not
perfect.
Okay, but that's
That's
that's the
skill.
same in
skill.
Underlords, right? That's the
Yeah,
same in
That could be
Underlords.
skill.
Yeah. I would say like it's definitely not like I think Underlords is the best AI out of everything.
Okay.
But like I did not noticeably yell at my phone and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Okay.
So it was never like I'd be like watch us hit something down like 10 HP and turn around and be like, like that didn't really happen. I didn't get super frustrated. It was just a couple like I'm like, oh, that's kind of annoying. Oh well, but nothing that like, if it's not like annoying enough to come to the front of my head right now as I'm trying to recall it, I would assume that I wasn't too frustrated about it.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason I'm asking that is because what Dota Auto Chess is right now isn't the most relevant thing. It's what Epics will be, right? And look at this transition.
Oh baby,
Whoa.
here
Whoa.
comes.
Whoa. Holy moly, dude.
Yeah. Woof.
That's another
Smooth.
picture.
Another picture. It's
Clap.
coming
I
soon.
meant talking about I meant the talking transition. Oh god.
Oh,
Oh,
did you guys see where they erased the part where it says Dota? Sick.
damn, dude.
Um.
Damn.
So Epic, and just to catch anyone up that doesn't know, but probably everyone knows, Epic announced that Auto Chess will be moving, and we've already talked about this a little bit, but we're moving to their store exclusively. So you'll only be able to find Auto Chess at some point, at least an updated version of Auto Chess on their store, the Epic store. But it will be developed by Drodo. It's still developed by Drodo. It's just sold, not really sold. I assume Epic's profiting in some way because it's a free game. By Epic. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? What's your guys' thoughts? There's a lot of questions. What are your guys' thoughts on Epic, and what's your thoughts on this being exclusive to there? Because I've heard a lot of conflicting things, a lot of negative, and then some positive as well about that.
I don't know how much influence Epic's gonna have on the game. If they have no influence, I think it can be a very good game. So until now, we have seen almost no footage of Proto's version, right? Just some screenshots, and the screenshots I saw, were just pretty good. I mean, there were no gameplay footage or something, but they were pretty cool screenshots. So I'm really curious what they're gonna do. It's really gonna depend on their art style, I feel like, because I think the balancing in DSC is pretty good. The Mars is really broken. I don't know why they don't fix it, but I feel like DSC, his balance is pretty good. Every single comp is decently viable, so I kind of believe in
I
them.
love the speed at which they patch. I think it's actually perfect, how often
Yeah,
they do it.
I agree.
And,
I agree.
does so Epic isn't doing too much with it. They're just kind of the home
I don't think we
right?
know. I don't think we know how much influence it has.
Because if Epic had too much to do with it, I don't know, Epic doesn't have a great track record of games, right? They have Gears and Fortnite, and that's pretty much it. Or am I missing something?
I don't. That's the extent of my knowledge of their games. To be honest, when I think Epic, I immediately just think Fortnite, right? I think that's most people.
Yeah.
They think Fortnite.
But do you think? I feel like Epic's not maybe the best platform to give. I feel like League of Legends is perfect for let's say auto battler. Valve with Steam as well, but I feel like an auto battler on, I don't want to call it that though, but on Epic, I feel like it doesn't attract a lot of players.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying
It's not
the
really a good
FPS player
platform.
base isn't the same. This
Yeah.
is a strategy
Yeah.
game, right? And
It is-
MOBAs are also strategy games, right? While
Yeah, exactly.
Fortnite is not a strategy game, right?
Last time Epic tried a MOBA, what was it? Paragon, was it? And that game fucking died, I think.
Was that Epic? I think you're right about that. Sounds right.
So I don't know. But also it kind of made me think why not choose someone like what the hell is Blizzard doing? I don't know.
I mean, they're probably developing one. Let's come on, they probably are.
Yeah, but Blizzard has been on a little bit of a downhill trend right now.
People are upset with
so
them.
I'm surprised that they didn't try to snag Drodo and work with them directly.
I mean, we know what Blizzard's gonna do, right? They're gonna release the similar game in 2 years, and then no one will play that game.
But it'll be really
that's gonna
polished. It'll look really nice, but it'll be way too late.
It will be super casual.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
Heroes of the
Easy.
Storm too.
StarCraft's over, unfortunately. But
Yeah. So they're gonna release it for sure because it's just easy money. I feel like didn't Skara say that there were at least 3 more bigger or 5 more bigger companies releasing it? So
yeah, he said 3
Blizzard
to 5.
must be one of them.
He
3 to 5, so-
leaked one of them. He leaked one of them on stream, so I guess I can say it here. Supercell is doing it, which they're Clash Royale and Clash of Clans.
Clash Royale?
Yeah. So I'm not interested whatsoever, to be honest, in Supercell.
But they're gonna probably make a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah, no, they're.
Wait, is Brawl Stars Supercell or are they not Supercell?
I think they are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man, they are so good at making
What?
mobile games.
Yeah.
bro.
Do you know of Clash Royale, right? In Clash of Clans.
Yeah, I know that, but not Brawl. Whatever you just
Brawl
said.
Stars is it's a
Brawl
newer
Stars.
game, but it's just a really satisfying mobile game. It's just I don't know. It's very good mobile game where it's just like a arena where you play a character and you run around and you shoot things and use abilities to kill people. And then there's a lot of different game modes. That's all.
Feels good, man.
Top
So-
down. Yeah.
From what I understand, as long as Epic isn't like dictating what they do in this game, which I don't think they will. I think they just want to make money and based off of candy sales, that kind of thing. So as long as you guys don't have an issue with it being on the Epic Store, because I've heard people having issues with it just being on the Epic Store in general.
Yeah,
Because
who cares?
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
I'm the same way.
I mean,
What?
who cares?
What? It's just annoying. Why cannot ever be a thing on the Valve, on the Steam? I would be perfect for me, but I mean it's whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You just open one other launcher, right?
We're also not the people who are ever gonna care. We're so invested in Auto Chess that no matter what, we're gonna still play the best version. Like it doesn't matter where it is.
I mean,
Right.
if like the launcher is gonna like not play you a certain game, then I don't know. What are you doing? Why would you make that decision based on the launcher?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, like maybe some people just fucking hate Epic, but that's an entirely
Yeah.
different story than what launcher it's on.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. And we don't know how much influence. It's like if Epic's gonna have a lot of influence in it, then I don't really believe that the game will be that good.
Right.
I don't know. But
I think-
Drodo is like
Yeah, I think Drodo's proven
Sure.
themselves to an extent, right? It was their idea, and they have made a lot of good changes. They've missed some stuff that we'd like them to do, but whatever. That stuff is they're like 10 guys that have made a game that we like better than Valve and Blizzard so far.
I mean, they still copy it, right? This concept is not like new, right? They just
yeah, that's true.
They
that's
just
true.
make a very good version, like
Right.
like finally a good version of this this genre game, and yeah, it really catched on, which is nice.
Okay. Guys, that's our topics. That's everything.
Is everything already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been over an hour, but time
Really?
flies when you're talking about Auto Chess, I guess. But I want to talk real quick about our plans a little bit for YouTube. I can't give a time frame exactly when that stuff will be live. This will probably be live like in the next couple days or so. But in terms of like when the other videos will be there, but pretty much. Oh, wait, did I already talk about this? I feel like I already talked about this. That we're gonna be doing like educational videos and a little bit of entertainment, but mostly educational stuff between all
Yeah,
of
you
us.
can repeat it. That's fine.
Yeah, sure. And and moving forward, every week from now on, when you come here at I don't know what it is, UTC, the Universal Time, whatever. I'm gonna say my time.
I don't even know what UTC is. So
Okay. Well, it's Universal Coordinated Time, I think. I don't know. 6 p.m. PST, so an hour ago. If you're here live.
An hour ago.
But
Perfect
an hour
for
ago,
YouTube.
but next week. yeah. If you're here live, if you're on YouTube, sorry. Look up 6 p.m. PST, I guess. Then we're gonna have a special guest on every week. Someone from the Autochess community, someone that we respect and we think is a good player as well. We're gonna have on here as well, get their take on things and get their opinions on strategy and that kind of thing. Because this week we talked a lot about the games and our thoughts on the games as opposed to like strategical stuff. That'll be happening more later because the thing is that honestly Underlords and TFT especially just came out. And so we're still learning those, and that's what we want to talk about right now because that's what's relevant right now. But over time, we're going to talk a lot more about what we think strategically from week to week and that kind of thing in this podcast. What were you saying, Rens? Sorry,
Was I saying something?
I thought you were. Am I wrong? Okay. So yeah.
All right.
Any closing thoughts, Pheylop?
I am already getting ready to queue up for some TFT. I'm very excited to play
You
it.
better be waiting
I
for
hope
me.
I didn't disconnect out of the
Yeah,
client.
dude. Are we all playing?
good.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as
All
long
right,
as everyone's down to
let me-
play,
let me
yeah.
call
We're playing
some
soon.
closing thoughts. I think that it's gonna be really fun for the next few weeks for us because things are gonna be pretty stormy and it's not clear exactly what we're all gonna be playing and what's to be the most refined, and we're all learning a lot. So I think that's not only gonna be for us, but for the community that plays these kinds of games as well. And it's gonna be really cool to see how things go, what we think. It's gonna be really funny if we were really good at auto chess and we try to all learn teamfight tactics and we're all fucking terrible. That'd be hilarious. And I'm just super excited to see if we hold up. If the games hold,
Yeah.
the game holds up, the genre holds up, and just like where everything goes from here.
Cool. That's
Sure.
really good closing to me.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I mean, I feel like I really hope there gonna be one game that is better than DAC. I will be so happy.
Me too. I'm
Oh
the
man,
same
it
way.
will be so
I want to
happy.
change, right? Change is fun. Change is nice.
Yeah,
but
I mean, just a better game. It would be so nice, man. Otherwise, DAC will be the best forever, and I will be sad.
That's the problem. Is like I think that like that's what they were thinking when they made some of the games that have come out, where they're like, let's just be DAC, but like a little bit better. But the
But it's
ways
not
they've
better.
done it just haven't worked. They need to do a little bit more than they are doing.
All right.
And
But
I think they will. All right, let's.
I feel-
We already closed. We gotta end.
No, let's go on.
Well, if
I'll stop.
anyone on stream will probably still be talking about stuff like nonstop because we can't stop talking. So anyway, I'll see you guys all next week or on YouTube or whatever. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Love you all.